reading is essential for those who seek to rise above the ordinary. And have you ever thought like this? That a writer only begins a book, but a reader actually finishes it. And books are what we are going to talk about today. So, hello my dear learners, welcome to a new session here at Skillfident with your mentor Namita. Today's class is all about some book recommendations, as a lot of you have been asking me about some good books to read. Though all through my channel in all these past 5 years, I have been suggesting a lot of books to all of you. There is a separate playlist for books. It has book recommendations, it has some book summaries, it has how actually you can read a book to understand or to get the maximum out of it. It's a wonderful playlist. I'll link it. You'll find it in the description box as well. But today also I'm going to come up with a lot of book recommendations for all of you. Now, those of you who think that spending money on books, oh my god, that's too much of an expense, then let me tell you that a book will only cost you how much? 100, 150, 200 bucks. A course or joining any sort of classes, an institute will cost you a lot. And the end result would not be the same that it would be after reading one full book. If you complete a book, you are a different person altogether. Give it a shot. It won't cost you a lot. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'll read a few lines from each book for you so that you get to know what exactly you're going to get out of your read. So I'll read a few lines, the lines which I've already highlighted, something which I have loved a lot about books, not a big paragraph or something, just a few lines, and I'll give you a little crux of it, what the books are all about. So the very first book is by Dale Carnegie, a famous one, How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's a famous book. Why you should read it? Because this book talks about concentrating in the present moment. We are all caught up with worries of future and sadness from past. We hardly live in present moment. So Dale Carnegie talks about how you can live in your present moment instead of focusing on what is going to happen and worrying about it, how you can stay in present and keep yourself motivated for living each moment. There will be situations which are going to be tough. You can analyze them. If there is not a lot that you can do about those situations, you can simply accept what it is and then you can try to improve instead of just worrying about it. So it's a nice book. Worrying is of no use, we already know it. Okay, let me read a few lines for you, something which I feel that you will like. So let me read something. I always highlight one or the other thing in my books. You should also do the same. Now he says that he's talking about working, like when he was struggling with lethargy and he was thinking a lot. He says that I realized that it is difficult to worry while you're busy doing something that requires a lot of planning and thinking, and this is so true. He says that there is a law which says that it is utterly impossible for any human mind, no matter how brilliant, to think of more than one thing at a given time. Well, you don't quite believe it. Very well, then let's try an experiment. Then he has talked about that experiment. So you can give it a read. It's a nice book. I must say that it's for everyone. You can read it. Okay, the other book is Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty. By the way, you'll find the names of all the books and the details in the description box. So don't worry. Or you can note it down simultaneously, your wish. Think Like a Monk. Train your mind for peace and purpose every day. A very nice book. Now this book talks about detachment because we are talking about monk. So developing that mindset, that monk mindset is important while you're living in this materialistic world. So he says that we have to detach ourselves from material possessions, from people's opinions of us, what do they think about us, and at the same time detachment from our own egos. So it's a great book. If you want to give it a read, it will be a very good thing. It'll change something within you. Developing a monk mindset is essential actually these days as we are living in Kali Yuga. So yeah, so there is this a topic which says negativity is contagious. So in this he says, we are social creatures who get most of what we want in life: peace, love, and understanding from the group we gather around us. Our brains adjust automatically to both harmony and disagreement. We've already talked about how we unconsciously try to please others. Well, we also want to agree with others. Research has proven that most humans value social conformity so much that they'll change their own responses, even their perceptions, to align with the group, even when the group is blatantly wrong. We all follow the crowd. We are all caught up in this rut, in this rat race, just because somebody else is doing it. Yes, that's so true. It's a wonderful read. Everybody should read it. If you are looking for that peace of mind, and if you feel that you are also caught up in the chaos, then this can be a great read. Okay, another favorite of mine. It is the Be Happy Attitudes. It's by Robert H. Sculler. One of my super favorites. I have thoroughly enjoyed and loved this book. The name is suggesting that it's about happiness, and you can, it is all about how true happiness can be achieved, because we as humans, we attach our happiness to material things. We are looking for quick fixes all the times. We are looking for instant gratification. There is so much of show off. This culture is so prevalent. We want to show it off to others, our wealth, our possessions, and all of that. So what he says is so good, that happiness is not just this. So what exactly is it? He is explaining that. See, I'm going to read something very beautiful, a very beautiful excerpt. He's talking about wounds. We all have wounds, don't we? We may disguise our wounds behind the smile and keep our guard up, but if we really searched our lives, exposed ourselves, we would find that every person has a secret pain, an intimate agony, a private hurt, a very isolated, unrevealed, unexposed wound. Society inflicts hidden wounds on us. Some of you have been victims of racial or ethnic prejudice, or of some other form of painful discrimination such as sexism or ageism. You know the discomfort of being laughed at, ignored, not being allowed to fulfill your vocational dreams just because you are a certain race, sex, or age. Sometimes those people closest to us inflict the deepest, most painful wounds. Some of you would weep right now if I touched the tender memory because of what a father or a mother, a spouse, child, lover, employer, or friend did to you. Other hidden wounds we inflict on ourselves. We react too negatively to circumstances. We wound ourselves because we take them much too seriously. We read too much into other people's actions and exaggerate their rejection of us. Isn't it beautiful? So if you truly want to decode happiness, this book is the encyclopedia. You must give it a read. Very, very nice book. So the books that I'm coming up here with are the ones which I have read personally, and I've loved them. Another love of my life, I've had a love affair with this book, is something I've talked about numerous times. This book is Bliss. It is Inner Engineering by Sadhguru. Very, very famous book. Very famous book. As the name suggests, inner engineering. So it's all about looking within. It's all about, finding that lasting fulfillment that we are trying to look for everywhere around us, which we are going to ultimately find within ourselves. So this is a lovely book, and from this book I cannot read a few lines. I think this deserves quite a few. I have highlighted so many areas in this book. I cannot stop reading this book over and over again. Let me read something very special. Be patient. This is going to be worth listening to. Now Sadhguru says it's about love mantra. So I'm going to read a little bit of it. Love is a quality, not something to do with somebody else. Every action that we do is in some way to fulfill certain needs. If you see this, then there is a possibility that you can grow into love as your natural quality. But you can go on fooling yourself into believing that the relationship you've made for convenience, comfort, and well being are actually relationships of love. I'm not saying there is no experience of love at all in these associations, but it is within certain limitations. It does not matter how many times true love has been proclaimed. If a few expectations and requirements are not fulfilled, things fall apart. This is essentially a mutual benefit scheme. There is really no such thing as conditional love and unconditional love. There are conditions and there is love. When you talk about love, it has to be unconditional. The moment there is a condition, it just amounts to a transaction. Maybe a convenient transaction, maybe a good arrangement, but that will not fulfill you or transport you to another dimension. It is just convenient. Love need not necessarily be convenient. Most of the time, it is not. It takes life. You have to invest yourself. If you have to be in love, you should not be. The English expression falling in love is very significant. You don't climb in love, you don't stand in love, you don't fly in love, you fall in love. Something of you should fall or melt away to accommodate the other. This is beautiful. This book is love in itself. So must read. Everybody. How much does it cost? 300 something. You can order it online for yourself. Please do. Better than buying a course, I would say. It's a course in itself. It's actually an engineering degree which we all must have, not the ones which we are pursuing after class 12. This is the actual engineering which everybody must go through. Okay, now this fifth recommendation is another favorite, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. So we had a monk mindset earlier, which was all about think like a monk. This is The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma, and I have quite a few other books by Robin Sharma. I've read a lot of books from him, but this one still remains my favorite. Now, this book is all about mastering your mind. It is all about self-discipline. It's all about serving others and respecting your time, which we all lack in this chaotic world. This book talks about how you can stay focused on your purpose. We are all here for a purpose, and are we being able to fulfill it is what this book talks about. So self-discipline is actually the key to accomplishing all your goals and everything that you want in your life. So you will be able to do that after reading this book. I'll read just few lines. In the fable, the garden is a symbol of mind. So he says, if you care for your mind, if you nurture it, and if you cultivate it, just like a fertile, rich garden, it will blossom far beyond your expectations. But if you let the weeds take root, lasting peace of mind and deep inner harmony will always elude you. And this is such a true thing. Do you agree with these lines? Okay, now the last book, the last recommendation for the day is very nice book. Don't Say Yes When You Want to Say No, and it's a very nice read. This book teaches you assertiveness. It talks about setting boundaries and how to value your own self and your time. People are so busy in finding validation and, always looking for approvals from others that they don't value themselves. They are always trying to flatter other people. That's what people pleasing is all about. We are all into pleasing other people. Why can't we be assertive and set boundaries, which is so difficult for people? Setting boundaries is a challenge. See, let me read something for you. Human beings want a life of dignity and self-fulfillment. Yet living leaves scars that distract us from these goals. Society teaches us to act in ways incompatible with these aims. As a result, the world contains many people who don't recognize their own strengths or who have learned to act in inferior ways because they believe themselves to be inferior. They find it impossible to express emotions like anger or tenderness. Sometimes they don't even feel them. They fulfill the wishes of others and hold their own desires inside themselves. Because they possess no control of their own lives, they become increasingly unsure. They accept the state of unassertiveness, and this is what this book is all about, developing that assertiveness within you. There are questionnaires. It's like a self-help book which will help you develop these kind of boundaries and the skill of being assertive and saying no when you truly want to say no. A very relevant book for the contemporary times, because we are all struggling with inferiority complexes. We all feel that we lack something somewhere. So a very nice book. So there are these 6 books that I would truly want you all to read. Which one are you going to buy? Let me know in the comment section that this one book I'm definitely going to buy. So I would be waiting for your comments, and I would want to see which one book have you thought of purchasing for yourself, and you have to give it a full read. Don't just buy, keep it in your shelf. It will not get downloaded in your mind. You'll have to read it. So tell me, which one book are you going to buy to be a good read for the next year, and you're going to finish it. Read the complete book. Read it thoroughly with a lot of patience. All right. So I hope this was helpful for you all, and I'm going to see you in my next video lesson. Till then, take care of yourself. Bye-bye for now.